Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from the Great Millstone, Orlando. And pursuant to this here, in the book of Isaiah, as the scriptures say, because of Esau, under the rudiments of Esau, all the foundations of the world are out of course, roughly paraphrasing. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. And being that everything is upside down, Yahweh Shai is coming to set things right side up, which for these people, and especially when it comes to women, when it comes to the whole ordeal of order, all right, you know, it's like nails on the chalkboard. You know, and this is why, pursuant to Second Corinthians 10, this truth is tearing down strongholds, vain imaginations, right? Because, you know, the gods of this world, and I mean that with the lowercase g, all right, the idols. You know, there's an idol that caters to all forms of idolatry, all right? You know, the idols of this world. If you want to be a Mo, you have idols that cater to being a Mo. When it comes to being a simp, there's idols dedicated to being simps. You know, there's idols to cater to all forms of lifestyles. You see? So that's why when as a matter of fact, I'm going to go to this. And that's why when it comes to for truth's sake and serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, you know, that's why it's hate speech. It's misogyny and all these other things. Because when it comes to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, he has a standard, which the majority of these people, they don't want to live according to an orderly standard, an orderly fashion. So again, this is why when it comes to this truth, as the scriptures say, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. All right, there's only one correct way of doing things, and that is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's way. That's why I'm going to grab this in St. John 7:38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So there is no come as you are. All right. Again, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, he has a standard. He has an order. And being that Esau, with his ordinances, as scriptures say, he's when it comes to, matter of fact, because I believe it's in the same chapter that I'm going to start off with in Isaiah 24. Yeah, Isaiah 24. I'm going to read verse 1. So in Isaiah 24:1, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty and maketh it waste. He turneth it upside down, scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And like I said, everything's already turned upside down, so to say. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is really turning things right side up. All right. And again, as the scriptures say, the Lord didn't give anyone a license to sin, but that's exactly what Esau has done. All right, given a license to sin, and it feels good. All right, these people, they just want to party, bullshit, do as thou wilt, right? YOLO, live it up, so on and so forth. But Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is coming to shut all that down. All right, and again, due to Esau's philosophies, the wine that he's caused the whole world to drink, that's why these nations, they're mad. And, you know, and I often reference this dealing with ever since Babylon pulled out of Afghanistan. As much as people want to look down, talk shit, because that whole the so-called Middle Eastern customs, those are really our customs, and you wonder why a lot of those marriages last a lot longer, right? For the most part, it's a better quality of life for the most part, because again, all the inhabitants of the world, man, under Esau, the rudiments of Esau is defiled. I'm gonna jump down on Isaiah 24. I'm going to jump down to verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The hearted people of the earth do languish. And the Wadi Shema Shai, because it's time for this pride to come to an end, this arrogance to come to an end, rebellion. It's time for Yahweh Shema Shai to quench all this, shut all this shit down. And that's exactly, again, what Yahweh Shema Shai is coming to do. Our sorrow is being turned to laughter, and these people, their laughter is being turned to sorrow. The Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, because it's about damn time. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And this is why the earth, through time, all right, has gotten weaker. All right, everything is just becoming more and more corrupt, defiled, including the people, right? Verse 6 says, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth. Talking about Esau, all right? And they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Yeah, because the Lord has a bone to pick, man. All right, and by the time what they would call the rapture, because the so-called rapture, as far as the elect getting beamed up, man, that's not going to take place, as the scriptures say, after the tribulation. All right. And you see these people, man, it's like they have a self-conscious thing where they know in the back of their mind that they live a life of sin, wickedness, and the time is coming, because there's this certain feeling of anticipation, like something's getting ready to happen. Yahweh Shema Shai has a certain spirit out there to where just people could just feel something is off, man. So with that being said, these people, they, in a sense, have this sort of a self-conviction, like, man, let me get right. Right? That's why when the so-called rapture that was supposed to take place a couple of weeks ago didn't happen, hey, everyone was boo-hooing and, because you think you're going to be able to escape. No, y'all got to pay for your crimes. Y'all got to pay. You think you could live a whole life of sin, and then at the last second, without any repercussions, just get taken out of here. No, that's why I said the so-called rapture is going to take place after the tribulation. All right? So you people, man, you got to deal with your judgment that's coming. And you women are not exempt. As much as Esau has told you, all right, that he put you on this pedestal, right? You're special, and all these other things, right? Hey, how about Shema Shai? He's not biased. Esau has put you on this pedestal, right? And you think you can't be touched? Well, this video here that I'm going to play, going into, again, the order that has been ever since Babylon has pulled out of Afghanistan by those Talibanians, man. And it's just a small glimpse of what we're going to start seeing here. Because, you bring out these precepts and scriptures and how a lady's supposed to conduct herself and all these things. And one of the main things that people talk shit, they say, well, that was in the Bible times, right? Those were the Bible days. Well, newsflash, we are still in Bible times. We are still in those Bible days. And again, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's reestablishing order on the earth. All right. So with that being said, man, like the scriptures say, because everyone is going to revert back to their nature. All right. And as far as you women, what is your nature? To be a possession, as the scriptures say. All right. And when it's all said and done, and we're already seeing this, again, as it says in this chapter, the crying for wine in the street, right? The world is vanishing away. It's fading away. Now this is all this world the good man at, right? I always say, hey, they're walking past your ass going to work. All right, not paying attention to you anymore. You see, because the thing is, the thing about it is, you are feeling, again, as the scriptures say, where there is no hedge, the possession, which you women are possession, all right, you become a spoil, and you're feeling that emptiness. All right, you're feeling that void of not having a protection, or a protector. All right, not having that hedge. So you should be nervous at the end of the day. You should be nervous. You should feel some type of way. All right. So, like I was saying, everyone is it will revert back to their nature. It's going to get real primal out here. All right, a real dog eat dog world out here. You women are going to find out you're not Wonder Woman. You're not Gal Gadot. All right, you're not Superwoman. All them karate classes. You're going to find out that again, you're going to revert back to being what you are, a possession to a man. All right, a possession. You see, it's getting ready to get real dangerous. All right, and we're already seeing it. A lot of dudes are standing up, fighting back, And as I always say, hey, you want equal rights? Well, hey, expect an equal left too. Expect that equal left. And that's exactly what's happening. Men getting tired of the shit. You see? For the most part, putting women in their place. So with that being said, man, I'm going to play this video. And again, because as much as people look down on the fact, as far as what's going on in certain places such as Afghanistan, where basically so-called rights are being taken away and things of that nature. Well, like Apostle Tahar always says, man, because it's mainly you people in the West. You too goddamn westernized. You've been in the West too goddamn long, man. All right? And that's why I always say, man, you can't read the scriptures. You can't read the Bible with a Western mindset. It makes you weak. This whole Western culture makes you weak, docile, dumb. All right? Stupid. That's why I said, for the most part, when it comes to the so-called Middle Eastern cultures, for the most part, because again, all the earth is divided under the inhabitants of Esau, but for the most part, over there, man, the quality of living is better for the most part. Marriages last longer, all right? Because whenever you apply the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah, you can never go wrong. So again, those Middle Eastern cultures, man, those customs, those are our customs. That's our culture. But without further ado,
United Nations will launch a formal investigation into growing allegations of human rights abuses in Afghanistan, and to do so, the UN Human Rights Body will establish a new accountability mechanism. The body will lead an independent investigation to document human rights abuse allegations in the country, many of which are believed to have been committed by the Taliban since they returned to power. Since its return to power in 2021, the Taliban has entrenched repression, imposed the Sharia law, and severely inhibited and restricted the freedom of women. Afghan women can no longer practice certain professions or travel without a male chaperone. They are banned from studying after the age of 12 and even walking in parks or going to gyms. More so, the Taliban requires women to obtain their husband's consent to use contraception. It has even prohibited male doctors from treating female patients. Amid this, the UN reported major obstacles to delivering aid after the devastating earthquake. Relief efforts were severely hindered as the Taliban banned women from working in NGOs in 2022 and extended the ban to Afghan women working with the UN in 2023. It doesn't end here. Recent credible reports indicate a rise in arbitrary and unlawful killings and the recruitment of children for armed conflict. Instances of inhumane and degrading punishments have also been documented, with recorded instances of violence against journalists. And just days ago, the de facto Taliban government orchestrated a nationwide shutdown of optic fiber connections, effectively silencing speech and communication under the pretext of cracking down on immoral practices. The UN's decision to launch an investigation has been widely welcomed, with the UN Special Rapporteur Richard Bennett hailing it as a significant milestone. The draft resolution already enjoys broad support, with 14 council members publicly backing it, such as Chile, France, Germany, and Switzerland.
So you see, man, again, as I've often referenced this, basically the order that's being reestablished now that Babylon is out of the mix. You see, because again, due to the wine that Babylon has caused the whole world to drink of, this is why these nations are in shambles. All right, countries are in ruins. You know, the spiritual morality is low, and this is why these nations are rising up against Esau, against Babylon. What's going on in certain parts of Africa? All right, hell, Issachar, man, the so-called Mexicans are tearing Esau's ass up. Because like it says in Jeremiah 50, or Jeremiah 51 rather, and 7, Babylon hath been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations are mad. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. You see, this is why there's this campaign against Esau, man. Hey, get the hell out of our country. All right? Get the hell out of our country. You see, and the damage has been done, man. The damage has been done, you know. And again, to you westernized people, right? You see certain of these type of things, man. And you that's so cruel, that's so wrong. Again, man, you're too westernized. You've been in Babylon too goddamn long. All right. Hell, over there, man, they've been bringing back public stonings. You know, public stonings, man. All right. Putting the woman back in order, man. You see, because hell, it goes back to the scriptures, man. Hey, a woman, there was a time where a woman, she wouldn't go anywhere by herself. She would have a chaperone, someone to go with her ass, because a child left to himself, man. You know, and that's exactly what women are, man. Big children. So a child left to himself, hey, you know, and then you wonder why, you know, certain cases of Deuteronomy 22 take place and things of that nature. Again, as I quoted, a woman without a hedge, hey, she becomes a possession. She becomes a spoil. So cases of Deuteronomy 22. You see, again, when it all boils back to what the standard that Yahweh Shemashah set up, when you do it the Lord's way, hey, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So that's why, again, when it comes to the customs and practices of those so-called Middle Eastern customs, the customs, right? You know, where women were, hey, playing their roles. Because it's not to say, and I always try to balance it out, because, you know, I always say, man, over here at Great Millstone, or y'all are misogynists. Y'all hate women. Oh, man, we love women. And that's the problem. You know, that's a big part of brothers' battle, man. Brothers burning and things of that nature, man. You know, brothers deprived. The Lord knows what he's doing at the end of the day. So we, in fact, love women. And that could be the problem. You know, hey, the Lord be saving us from ourselves. So it's not the fact that we hate women, but more so the mindset that you Israelite women have taken being in this westernized culture too goddamn long. This is why you have the whole movement of passport bros, Jake just going overseas, right? You know, you women are just completely gone. And for the majority of these women out here, man, they can't be rehabilitated. They had to get put down like dogs, man. And that's exactly what we're getting ready to see, because again, Yahweh Shema Shah, he's not biased. Right? Women and children first. That's what Esau teaches you, right? But the Lord doesn't give a damn about none of that. Men, women, and children are going to be getting got. But soon to Ezekiel 9 and 5 on down, man, you know, hey, the Lord mentioned that women are going to get judged twice. All right? You know, mentioned the women twice. So the Lord's not biased. He doesn't have a weak spot. He's not squirmish. So we're getting ready to see a lot of judgment. All right? Orders getting ready to be reestablished. And this is just a small glimpse. All right, this is just a small glimpse. And, you know, it would behoove you women to, hey, get with the program. Get with the program while you can. Because, hey, the focus of brothers as of right now, yeah, we speak on topics about Isaiah 4:1 and things of that nature, but it's more so for prophecy's sake, man. All right? It's bound to happen. You know, it's bound to happen. So again, with brothers focus, man, hey, again, you better get with the program while you can. You better stop holding back. You see a brother that you like, man, hey, make your move, shoot your shot. Because on another note, I know Isaiah 4:1 is going to be a major stumbling block, man, for a lot of women. A lot of women are going to end up being destroyed, killed for the fact, and that's a God-given right. All right, man can give you privileges, but rights come from Yahweh Shema Shai, and it's a God-given right for a man to have multiple women, and that fact alone, a lot of women are going to be destroyed, man. But hey, the hell with you. All right, see you on the other side, shorty. But you women better get on the bandwagon while you can now. And again, you see brother that you like, hey, make your move, man. Shoot your shot. Because like I just said, man, hey, brothers are burning. Brothers in need. You know? So, hey, again, it's all part of the program of Yahweh Shema Shai. You can get with it or not. Get left in the dust, man. That's getting ready to be the case, man. A lot of you women, I'm going to grab this in Isaiah. Isaiah 3, verse 25. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty men, and thy mighty in the war, like it says in Second Esdras. All right, a lot of you women are gonna end up being widows by yourself, no helpers, because there's gonna be so much bloodshed out here, killing and murdering going on. That's why a man of the Lord is gonna be precious in that day, because it's crazy enough. Women outdo men at least 7-1, and that's spiritual within itself. I'm sure the number is more, but women outdo men at least a minimum of 7-1, and that's not a coincidence. So the fact that, like I said, a lot of people are gonna be dying, man, and women outdo men as it is, right? Outnumber men as it is. The Lord's gonna be killing a lot of these men. Again, that's why a man of the Lord is gonna be precious in that day. But hey, that don't mean just because you got a pretty face or fat ass or whatever that you're gonna make it, man. All right, because I believe it's in this chapter, man. Hey, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's all the tinklings and things of that nature, right? The tinkling ornaments, right, and things of that nature. All that makeup, and hey, you women are gonna be stripped down for what and who you really are. All right. And if anything, having a pretty face and a fat ass is gonna work against you in that day. You see, but a lot of you women are gonna be in a bad case, because you got to get humbled. You got to get humbled. And I think about that all the time, because so-called bad things happen every day, right? And I think about it all the time, man. It's like, damn, Lord, what are you gonna bring that's finally gonna shut these women up? That's finally gonna humble these women, because these women, every day they get more and more proud. A lot of women are homeless, living out their car, man, and they're making it they're basically making it look good. They're basically making it look good being homeless. It's just like, Lord, what are you gonna do? What is the Lord gonna bring to finally humble you women, man? And I can't wait to see it, Lord willing. I can't wait to see it, because goddamn. Verse 26, it says, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So you see, a lot of you women is going to be in a pitiful case, man. And hey, for the most part, brothers are going to walk right past your ass, just like they're doing now. Like I said, where are the good men at? They walking past your ass, going to work. But even with that being said, because if you're not of the elect, hey, the so-called good men walking past your ass, going to work, the Lord gonna kill them off too. Again, that's why, man, the Lord is going to be precious in that day. You see, so hey, get down with the Lord's program or not. Order is being reestablished. All right, one way or the other. So again, man, this is a small glimpse. Like I said, man, they've been bringing back public stonings. All right, them Talibanians, man, they ain't been playing. That's why when this whole topic of Trump talking about going back over there, they're like, hell no, because Trump suggested going back over there and reclaiming that base, right? And they were like, them Talibanians were quick to, nah, nope, we don't want you. You're not welcome. You see, so them, like I said, man, ever since Babylon put out them Talibanians, they ain't been playing. All right, they ain't been playing. It was so bad, man. And I'm not condoning the violence side of things. As long as it lines up with the scriptures, hey, I'm all for it. Cause it was so bad over there, man. When Babylon pulled out of Afghanistan, man, it was so bad, man. When you see them flights leaving, women were throwing their babies over the gate, man. It was bad. It was bad because they knew. A lot of those people, they knew, man. When them Talibans got back up rule, they were trying to get the hell up out of there, man, because they knew. When some Talibanians got back up in there, man, they knew. So you see those planes leaving, man. It was crazy. All right, it was crazy. Mothers throwing their babies over the gate, man. It was crazy, man, because they knew what was coming. Once them Talibanians get back up in there, they knew what was coming. They were trying to get the hell out of Dodge, man. A lot of them got left behind, and for the most, I'm sure to never be heard of again. Needless to say, but one way or the other, order is being reestablished. All right, and this is just a small glimpse. All right. So with that being said, hopefully this is edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.